Okay, good evening everyone. So today we'll start off with any questions or comments. How did you find the test on Sunday? Was it easy? Was it difficult? What did you think? No? I know most of you did the test. Okay, so no comments about the test. That's fine. How about the forums? Is everyone up to date with the forums? Remember there are 3. Please send me the screenshots. I sent the questions or the topics for the essay yesterday. You can send me any plans or any ideas for me to check, and I will get back to you with any responses, any feedback for that. We have two weeks for the essay, and then in the final 2 weeks we'll have the video discussion task where you have to discuss a topic, and you can send me that one through WhatsApp or through email. Okay. So I guess we'll look at Unit 6 today. Is it Unit 6 or Unit 7? Can't remember. Unit 6. The conjunctions. Okay. Just give me a second and I'll... Okay. So these correlative conjunctions, these conjunctions that join ideas, there are a few discussed in the platform, but really not too many. I think most of the answers, when I checked earlier, was neither nor. I think most of the questions were neither nor. But we'll just look at a few things. Okay. I'm not going to talk about has and so, I'll talk about has and has. Okay. So I'll talk about these different correlative conjunctions. They join ideas. The ideas have to be similar. So they can join similar ideas about verbs, about actions. They can join similar ideas about things, nouns, and they can join similar ideas about descriptions, so adjectives. So, when we use either or, we're talking about a choice we have. Of two things, a choice of two things. So, if you go to a restaurant and you see two nice things on the menu, so you think about the two things. So I will have pizza, or I will have a burger. So that's the two things you want. And we can join these sentences by using either or. So the joint sentence will be I will have either pizza or a burger. Okay, so we have a choice of two things. Now, either or, we'll mainly use it with things, but we can use it with pronouns, for example. So with nouns, Pete or John will buy the soda. Okay, so there's a choice. You don't know which, but two people. Neither nor is similar to either or, but it's negative. Neither is like not either, and nor is like not or. He likes neither cheese nor cake. So he doesn't like cheese, he doesn't like cake. So he likes neither cheese nor cake. Neither Maria nor John speak Chinese. So Maria doesn't speak Chinese, John doesn't speak Chinese. So neither Maria nor John speak Chinese. can use it for adjectives. So he's neither intelligent nor charming. So he's not intelligent, he's not charming, he's neither one nor the other. He's neither intelligent nor charming. Okay. It says either or, neither nor. We're comparing two things, or talking about two things, and they are similar things. So two nouns, two adjectives, two people, two actions. And we'll look later how we need to keep things parallel. Remember when we use things like present simple and present continuous to talk about things, we need to keep things parallel. So we need to use the present continuous twice in a sentence. We need to use the present simple twice in a sentence. We can't mix. And it's the same with these. We can't mix things. We can't compare an adjective to a noun. We can't compare a verb to an adjective, and so on. But we'll look at that later. Is everyone kind of okay with either or and neither nor? We'll practice more in a while. Okay, no one? You all asleep? Okay, let's have a look at the others. So the next one on the list is not only but also. This is also in the platform.
Teacher,
No.
either it's possible to use as someone,
No.
or what is the meaning exactly to either word?
So either or is when we're talking about two things. Okay? So this is different from whoever. This is saying that Pete will buy the soda or John will buy the soda. So either Pete will buy the soda or John will buy the soda. And we join these together to say either Pete or John will buy the soda. Okay, in this case, we don't know, but we know that one of those things is going to happen. So Pete will buy it or John will buy it. Okay, so either indicates that we're talking about two things. Two things, two possibilities, two actions, two descriptions.
Either join two things or two peoples in the same sentence.
Yes, yes. As long as they are similar things. So here, Pete and John are both people, and they're both nouns. but we don't know in this case which one will buy the soda, but we know one of them will. There are two possibilities, so either Pete will buy or John will buy. So either Pete or John will buy the soda.
On the other hand, neither we used to not choose any of the two options.
Yes, yes. So because neither nor are negative, when we use things like, we know it's negative, so he doesn't like. He doesn't like cheese. He doesn't like cake. Yeah. Yeah. We're talking about speaking Chinese. So neither Maria nor John speak Chinese. So Maria doesn't speak Chinese. John doesn't speak Chinese.
Okay, the two words I understand. You can continue, thanks.
Thank you. We'll check in a few with a few examples later. Okay, let's clear this and do the not only but also. That's nice. Okay. So not only but also is also used to join two ideas. All of these things are used to join. But not only and but also can be used with positive statements and negative statements. Okay. We can use it at the beginning of a sentence or in the middle. So let's look at a few examples. Here's an example. Not only does he work very hard, but he also plays very hard. So you know the phrase work hard, play hard? So when you work very hard, you have the opportunity to enjoy yourself. So not only does he work hard, but he also plays hard. So we're saying he works very hard. And we're saying he plays very hard. So not only does he work hard, but he also plays hard. Here we're looking at adjectives. not only beautiful, but also very intelligent. So there's a kind of feeling when we use not only, but also that we're kind of amazed by the two things. It's like we can't really believe it, or it's kind of surprising. Okay, so we have this kind of feeling behind not only, but also. And with as and as, you probably remember this from before. I'm not sure if it's in this particular unit or in the questions, but remember it's used when we compare two things. Oh, we got the gas man. Okay. Remember when we use as something as, we use adjectives to compare two things. Sorry. So Peter is as tall as Keith. So when we use as something as plus an adjective, as, we are saying that the two things are equal. So Peter is as tall as Keith, so Peter and Keith are equal height. Those shoes are expensive as a car. So we're saying that the shoes are very expensive and they are the same price as a car. So they have equal prices. When we use it in a negative, we are saying that the things are not equal. An elephant isn't as fast as a cheetah. So a cheetah is faster than an elephant. Quito isn't as hot as the coast. So we're saying the two things are not equal. So Quito and the coast are not equal. And the coast is hotter than Quito. Okay. That's a basic overview. Does anyone have any questions about not only but also, or as? I'm gonna look at Hello.
Yeah, teacher, in the middle of the two as, we have to put an adjective.
An adjective, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So whereas not only but also, and neither nor and either or can compare different things. We're still comparing different things with as. We're combining nouns, we're comparing things, and we always need to include an adjective in the middle. Okay, I put a grammar sheet in the folder. I was looking at it again today, and it's not the greatest. So I'm gonna update that. But we'll look at some of it now and get some more insight into how to use these things. I think it's better to look at the examples rather than the grammar, because the grammar can be quite confusing. So let's say that. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay. We'll start with this one. I think the problem with this was that I couldn't find one specifically for English learners. These descriptions are for native speakers. So they're a bit wordy. But I'll go over them again and try to make them easier. So there's either or. So I said that we have a choice. We have two things, this one or this one. So I want either the cheesecake or the chocolate cake. So I want cheesecake or I want chocolate cake. So I want either the cheesecake or the chocolate cake. Here's one I didn't mention. Both an and. I'm not sure if this is in the unit. I think there's one example maybe. This is when we have a choice of two things, but you want both. You want the. So here, I want the cheesecake or the chocolate cake. This one I want the cheesecake and the chocolate cake. So you're going to eat both, the two things. So we'll have both the cheesecake and the chocolate cake. This is also going to be used with adjectives, people. So in that case, it's a bit like not only but also, but it's a little less complex. Whether an or isn't in the thing. Remember, whether is a more formal way of saying if. If. So I don't know whether you'd want the cheesecake or the chocolate cake. So I got both. But that's not in the unit. Neither nor. So like I said, this is the negative form of either nor. So, oh, you want neither the cheesecake nor the chocolate cake. No problem. So you don't want the cheesecake and you don't want the chocolate cake. So you want neither the cheesecake nor the chocolate cake. Not only, but also, as I said, we're joining two things that can be positive or negative, but they join the two ideas. So I'll eat them both, not only the cheesecake, but also the chocolate cake. So I will eat the cheesecake, and I will also eat the chocolate cake. So not only, but also. And not in, but I don't think this is in the unit. It's not as common as the others. I don't think I ever use this. And here are some useful pairs. I'm only going to go over a few of these that are common. So as, so we said, we talk about two things being equal or two things not being equal. So bowling isn't as fun as skeet shooting. I don't know what skeet shooting is. I think that's in Britain we call that clay pigeon shooting. I think it's the same thing. We fire a disc into the air and shoot it. So we're saying skeet shooting is more fun than bowling. Such that, don't worry about that, it's too formal. Same with scarcely. As many as, that's quite common. That's when we're talking about quantity. When we compare two quantities. So there are as many curtains as there are windows. So this is, again, is similar to as, something as, but we're not using an adjective, and we're using many to express a quantity. In this case, as many curtains as there are windows means there are the same number. So there are the same number of curtains as there are windows. We can use this negatively as well. We would say there aren't as many curtains as there are windows, which means there are more windows. Now, there aren't as many people in Quito as there are in Brazil. Okay, no sooner than, this again is a bit too advanced for this level. But rather than is very common. It's mostly used for activities to express preference for doing one thing over the other. So she'd rather play the drums than sing. So she has a preference to play the drums than to sing. So if she has a choice, she prefers to play the drums. So I'd rather read a book than watch a movie. I'd rather play football than play golf. I'd rather go to the rainforest than go to the beach. So we're using rather and than to express a preference for one thing over another. It's not just actions, we can use it for things as well. I'd rather cake than biscuits. You live for things. There's just another thing that's not important. Okay. Let's have a look at a couple of activities. So I need to be careful with the cursor because this goes crazy. Okay. So remember, let's have a look at what we have. So we can use either or, neither nor, both and, not only also, not only but also, and whether or. This one, if this one comes up, I'll just tell you anyway. So could it come over at something 3, something 4 o'clock? Asked Joan. Okay, so she's looking at a choice of times.
Either 3 or 4.
Yeah, either 3 or 4. So we have the two choices, this one or this one. So we'll use either 3 or 4. The teacher refused to mark his work because his book was something torn, something dirty. So here we have a description. So the book is torn, the book was torn, and the book was dirty. Anyone?
I believe it's neither.
But then if we use neither, we're saying the book was not torn and the book was not dirty. But the book is torn, the book is dirty.
Well, it's either, so.
No, because if we use either, then it's one or the other. It can't be the two things.
Oh, okay. I understand.
So for number 2, we're going to say it's both torn and dirty. Okay, so it is torn and it is dirty. Okay, if we use either, it can't be both. And if we use neither, then it's not. Yeah. So the only one that works is both torn and dirty. I really need a holiday, but something in Spain, France. So we're looking at 2 options. Spain, go to Spain, go to France. So you have a choice. Spain or France. It works well. That's when they're saying not. So you don't want to go to Spain. You don't want to go to France. You can also use that with either and or. But then it boils down to context. Teacher,
neither and either are choices, right?
Mm-hmm. So either or is when you have a choice of two things. Neither and nor is when you say you're not going to do two things.
Okay, I understand.
This one, I'm going to fish tomorrow, something it rains or shines. This is a phrase, rain or shine. It means if the weather is bad or if the weather is good. Then this one is going to be weather, whether it rains or shines. So here it means it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter if the weather is bad or if the weather is good. But don't worry, because that's not in the unit. Okay. So something, did he borrow a lot of money from us? He something refused to pay back a single cent. So the man borrowed a lot of money and then he refused to pay back the money. So remember I mentioned that this usage means we're quite incredulous. We can't quite believe what happened or what is true. So what do you think we use here? So we're saying we can't believe that after borrowing the money, he refused to pay it back. So we're going to use not only did he borrow a lot of money from us, what goes with not only?
Not only, he also.
He also, yeah. So not only did he borrow a lot of money, he also refused to pay back a single cent. So we have this kind of sense of, we can't believe it. He did this, but he also did this. The children at the center can something hear, something speak.
The children at the center can as hear as speak.
No, remember when we use as something as, we're saying that they're equal. And we always need an adjective. Let's go through the choices. We've got either or. If we use either and or, it means they can hear or they can speak. They can't do both. They can do one or the other. So that doesn't make sense. If we say the children can both hear and speak, it means they can hear and they can speak. But that doesn't really make sense. So the only one that really makes sense is neither nor. Because then we're saying the children at the center cannot hear and the children at the center cannot speak. So they can neither hear nor speak. She employs a maid to do something the cooking, something washing for her family. So we have the two things, cooking and washing. So we know we're going to use and. So what can we use in the first space?
Both and she employs maids to do both the cooking and washing.
So she employed a maid to do both the cooking and washing for her family. We have enough spices for only one type of curry. Okay, one type of curry. We have a choice of two, chicken curry and mutton curry. So what are we going to use? So here the clue is in the first sentence. One type of curry. And we have two types of curry. So we can cook chicken curry.
It could be teacher right there. It's okay. The pronunciation.
Sorry?
Right there or
Rather.
rather.
Remember that sound? Rather. Rather. Americans are a bit more rather, but we say rather. We say rather. So one type of curry, we can cook chicken curry, or we can cook mutton curry. So we're going to use or. So we can cook what? We have the choice of the two, chicken curry or mutton curry. So the first space is anyone? Extra point.
I believe we can use either or rather.
No, we can't use rather.
Okay, either. So
If we use rather, it would go before the verb, and we usually use rather with would, because we're talking about an imaginary situation or a future situation. So we could say, I would rather cook chicken curry than mutton curry to express a preference. But in this case, we can cook either chicken curry or mutton curry. So we can cook this or cook this. We have the choice of both, the choice of either. Okay, I'll share this website with you so you can continue. And a few more, I think, because this is the kind of thing the kind of grammar that's easier to practice than read and kind of understand by reading about it. It's the kind of thing that's best to practice. So I'll try to find a few and add it to the folder tomorrow. Okay, so in the final 5 minutes, I just want to answer any questions or see if you can give me some examples. Actually, yes. Can you all write me an example in the chat box using, write a sentence using neither nor in the chat box. Okay, I'll give you a few moments. Remember, when we use neither nor, the sentence is automatically negative. So we're saying something won't happen, or two things won't happen. This thing won't happen, this thing won't happen. Or she isn't this and she isn't this. Yeah, good, Andres? So we're saying chicken isn't available, steak isn't available. Good, Evelyn. Yeah. So you're saying Italy didn't get to the quarterfinals, France didn't get to the quarterfinals. Yes. So the answer is not true, it's not false. Okay, good, Walter. Okay. David, that's a different usage for either. Because we know we don't have a pair. in that example, you're saying it hasn't been easy for either of us. So it hasn't been easy for me or for you. So it's a different usage. Okay, so before we finish, does anyone have any questions about anything? Like I said, I will share some more examples and some more exercises so you can practice with this a bit more.
Mr.
Look,
Can you include this URL in the document
yes, I will add.
in Google Drive?
I'm going to add some more things to the document in the folder. Okay.
I just need to review the grammar part after this class to understand, but I hadn't enough time to understand all the structure and syntaxes. In my opinion, grammar part is a little difficult to understand at the first time.
That's why I said it's something that is better to practice than to read about. So it's better to practice the exercises and to learn it that way through experience.
My last question to finish. When you are ready the grades of the first part of this course?
Okay, we don't release the grades in parts. We only release the grades at the end. But if you want to know your scores for the forums and how it's affected, then fine. If you just send me an email and I will send you a breakdown. But the entire course is 7 different things. You have the platform completion, which is how much of the platform you do. That's 10%. You have the tests on the platform, the unit tests, the tests that you do at the end of the classes. That's another 10%. You have the midterm test, which is 25%, and the final test, which is 25%. So just the 2 tests and the platform are 70%. We then have the essay, which is 5%. We have the forums, which I think this time are 15%. Then we'll have the participation, which I will probably use the video for rather than anything else. And then you have the attendance, which we won't use. I'll assign that to something else as well because of the corona and everything. So, sorry, there's eight things. So I can't really give you a true score for the first half of the course, but I can let you know how you're doing.
We get the final score when we finish this course
Yes.
the,
Yes. So
ne-
when
the next month.
on the 19th to the 19th, 26th. Sorry, the 26th is our final test. 26th of July. So following the final test, we have to submit all the grades normally before Tuesday. And then you will have the exit exams, which won't apply to us, and the matriculation for the next level in the same week. Carlos, how can I help you?
Okay, let
Teacher.
me check the email about to choose the topic to make the essay, and I will answer tomorrow at the first hour.
Okay, well, you have 2 weeks, Andres. You have 2 weeks to plan and design your essay. So it's not something you need to do tomorrow.
It's only to confirm the topic that I will choose.
Okay,
No more, thanks.
thank you. Carlos.
Teacher, and first, I wanted to mention that your class is very didactic. And second, could you tell me if you were able to check our exam notes and what percentage of the total it represents?
Okay, so the exam that you did on Sunday is 25%. And the final exam is another 25%. So the 2 exams together is half of your score, 50%.
Okay, teacher. And well, no more. Thank you, teacher.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. Okay, any other questions or comments? No? Okay, it's a little past 8 o'clock, so thank you all for coming. Thank you for your interaction. We might have to change the format slightly for the next one because our bosses want us to have more games and things. So I'll see what we can do. But thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you all on Friday.
Thanks, teacher.
Thanks, teacher. Have a good
Thanks,
night.
teacher.
Okay, see you on Friday.